Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? My name is Tariq Alturkestani. I am a proud Mawhiba alumni, and today I'm joined by fellow stars from Mawhiba who've graduated from various programs in the past couple of years. In my case, it's past couple of decades. Mawhiba is sponsored, or Mawhiba is created by the King Abdulaziz and his companions Foundation for Giftedness and Creativity. Mawhiba usually runs programs for elementary school students, secondary school students, and high school students, and sometimes in universities. The goal is to enable and empower youth in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through various programs that they offer in STEM majors. I'll start with you today, Jawhara. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. AlJohara, you've graduated, mashallah, with honors from Prince Sultan University. And during that time, while you were at college, studying business administration with a minor in accounting, you've also worked at TASAMI. And TASAMI is a non-profit organization focused on social entrepreneurship. So it seems that your focus is trying to make an impact that truly matters. And today, now you work at the Ministry of Culture at the Strategy and Value Creation. So could you please tell us a little bit about what changes you want to see in the coming decade until we reach 2040?
Sure. Thank you for the introduction, Tariq. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allow me to share a little secret with you today. I haven't shared the bio intentionally with the team today because I want to carry this conversation not as AlJohara or behalf of AlJohara, but as my generation as a whole, the generation of 2030. So the vision was unveiled on 2016, 6 years ago. It was a vision, a plan on papers, and we were students back then. One would say only a small drop in the ocean for a vision this big. But today, the vision is no longer just a plan. It's achievements. It's the reality we're living in. And we are an active player in achieving that ambition. How did we reach here today? It's for all the opportunities that was shown to us with the vision. It is the ambition, it is the belief in us from leadership that youth can do it. And what's next after Vision 2030? Vision 2030 for us, it's not the end goal, it's just the start. Vision 2040 would come ahead and new generations would take the lead. What we do today would create this, what we do today and the future the successes we're doing today will develop and build the future for the generations ahead of us. What we need to do is invest in the youth. They are the one who would carry the work we're doing today to build and reach Vision 2040 and beyond. We need to create the opportunities for them, empower them, and give them the responsibility of leading this future and shaping our future and reaching the full potential of our country.
Amazing, interesting. And actually, the impact that we're trying basically to encourage students or to empower students is creating a lot of impact. And today, I think we actually have an example. Dr. Faris is studying medicine now at the King Saud University, Abdulaziz University. You made us all proud by winning the first place at the National Olympiad competition, and then winning the 48th, winning a bronze medal at the 48th International Olympiad of Chemistry. And now you're studying medicine, obviously moving from STEM to medicine, and then but also focusing on creating value through R&D in the healthcare sector. So what do you think our future will look like in the healthcare? Where do you see us going forward?
Sure. Thank you, Tariq, for this great introduction. Honestly, I'm honored to be here and to represent Saudi youth. Before I start, allow me to address our audience. Truly, it's an honor to be in a stage of this magnitude esteemed leaders of the world. It's truly an honor to be among you. Especially for the FII Institute, I would like to thank them for incorporating us, the youth, in their initiative and investing in us as we all invest in humanity. With regards to healthcare, I personally envision the future of healthcare as a highly digitized healthcare system that is precise and tailored to the needs of the individual. So when we look at the healthcare system in the future, I think we need to rely on the research and innovation in order to utilize these advancements that are happening in other domains than the healthcare and incorporate them into the healthcare system. That would enable us to focus more on the prognosis, the prevention, rather than just focusing on the management. So we have to take preemptive measures. Through this digitized system, we will be able to incorporate the advancements in data science. So once we have a collective data, we can then analyze such data in order to have the results that would enable us to predict parameters of healthcare. This will allow us also to modernize the healthcare system in a way that we can access a unified healthcare system, both within nation and across nations. This would also enable those who seek healthcare internationally to do so with ease. So I think the pillar of the future of healthcare is the modernization and digitalization of the healthcare system.
MashaAllah. Great. Nawaf, you've came, alhamdulillah, Alsalamah, you came to the event from Manchester. And basically, so what you're doing there is you're studying electrical and electronics engineering. You've graduated from Mawhiba a couple of years back. And now I wanted to ask you about what kind of challenges you think you and your peers are facing now, and how we go about solving them, especially since, I mean, we have a lot of, as AlJohara mentioned, we have a lot of initiatives here in Vision 2030, and we have a lot of barriers. So how can we break them and excel in what you want to do?
Very good question, Tariq. First, I'm very glad to be here with you to talk about our ambitions for Vision 2040 and being proud of what has been accomplished in Vision 2030. Second, I would like to thank FII Institute to have young people to express their ideas about future, and special thanks to Mawhiba for enabling this opportunity. In my opinion, there are three main challenges facing the whole world affecting people's life, which are education, healthcare, and sustainability or energy. I choose these as fundamental challenges because I believe these, once they are tackled and improved in a positive way, will affect the quality of people's life in a positive way as well. The main problem of education and healthcare in the whole world is that these two sectors are not accessed by all people. Those people are not treated very well as others who do. Those people do not get education as others who do. So it's not balanced due to the shortage of facilities and staff, which causes a huge gap between the supply and demand. Another issue related to these two sectors is that these two sectors are not financially sustainable, which means that these two sectors are not relying on their revenues. There is another issue related specifically to the healthcare system, is that the population in the whole world is growing up, so more diseases come out. As we saw during COVID-19 pandemic, some national health services collapsed against this disease. So we need to have a very strong national health system to stand against these diseases. Also, we need to have a fixed ratio between the beneficiaries and staff with facilities. I know it's not an individual project. It is a national giga project set and monitored by governments, national organizations, and associations as well. In Vision 2030, we are very proud to have it. We have 2 core programs. Out of 8 core programs are only focusing on education and healthcare. We have the health transformation program, which has an aim to provide health services to 88% of population in Saudi Arabia by 2025. The other program is the Human Capability Development Program, which has some minor aims related to education sector. I hope that by 2040, and part of Vision 2040 is that all people in Saudi Arabia get an access to have healthcare services and education, which I believe these sectors or these hopes can be achieved through digital transformation, especially in the education sector. For the energy, Tariq, the main problem with energy, as people now, especially in the last couple of years, are talking about it, and energy and sustainability becomes to be popular, more popular. The simple issue is that there is a huge gap between the supply and demand. As I have said, the population in the whole world is going up, and the standard of living requirements is high, which is not compared to previous years. So providing enough energy and supply it as it is required is a challenge as well. It is expected that by 2035, the electricity demand to reach 40,000 terawatt hour. The carbon emissions are a challenge as well, because most of the energy production now are produced and extracted from fossil fuels. These challenges have a negative impact on growth, economic security, and prosperity of energy. So most people would think that the solution is renewable energy, but the shifting from fossil fuels to renewable energy is a challenge as well. Another issue related to renewable energy is that renewable energy does not provide the same usage of fossil fuels. Petrochemical products are extracted and made from part of oil. Textiles, electronics, medical supplies, health and beauty products, some household products should have part of it extracted from oil, which cannot be replaced by renewable energy. Another issue related to renewable energy is that renewable energy is subjected to weather conditions. If we have enough wind, we will have enough wind energy. If we have enough solar radiation, we will have enough solar energy. Solar energy will provide the sufficient energy during the day, but the night there is no sun, so there is no solar energy. So the solution now, we need to reduce our dependency on oil, but we cannot get rid of it. And again, part of Vision 2030, we are very proud to have it. We have an aim, which is to live in a sustainable and environmental energy demand in the future years. Saudi Arabia has two main programs, part of the energy sector. The first program was announced by His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, which is a new concept in terms of reduction of carbon emissions, which is called the Carbon Circular Economy Program. This program is focused to minimize the carbon emissions based on 4 methods, which are reduction, reuse, recycling, and disposal. The other program is the hydrogen program. Saudi Arabian government is looking to make hydrogen part of their energy mix. And Saudi Arabia is looking to be a leader in that sector because of its strategic location and its low-cost hydrocarbon resources.
Very rich answer, and I'm sure we'll get back to you a lot with to focus on some of the challenges that you've mentioned. I'll go to Tarfa. Tarfa, you've graduated with honors, mashallah, from Alfaisal University in the degrees of, you got a degree in electrical engineering, and during that time also, you've participated in many competitions in science and engineering, and in fact, you've won the first place at the Boeing students competition with your design or poster on electrical vehicle motor controller, if that is correct. And now you are working at the Ministry of Energy at the policy strategy in the power policy sector strategy, yeah. I believe. So how is it like to work at the policy side, given the problems that Nawaf was talking about, what we need to do to enable our Vision 2030 pillars in the future?
Nawaf, you presented me with many challenges that I might have to answer right now, but before I proceed with answering your question, Tariq, I'd like first to join my colleagues in thanking Mawhiba for this opportunity, and I would like first to paint this picture. 11 years ago, when Mawhiba launched their first gifted student identification program, I was a grumpy little kid who felt like her break was stolen from her to take the stupid exam. And I thought to myself back then, like, why do I have to take it? And now I'm very glad and very grateful for these opportunities, as it is, in fact, directly linked to the place I am today and the platform I'm here with you today, and accompanied by my colleagues from each sector and seeing these huge accomplishments thanks to Mawhiba and thanks to the people who are working on it. So this is just a great thank you to them. Proceeding with your question, Tariq, I graduated a year ago and I joined the ministry a year ago. So I was faced with really two challenges, one being transitioning to adulthood and accompanied with an energy transition. So that was a huge thing for me where I felt like, how can I say it? It is we live in a world where the policymaker is at a lot of pressure right now. We live in unprecedented times when it comes to energy. Politics, climate change, economics, technology, innovation are a subset of words that I hear every day. And untangling them and trying to solve them, finding that delicate balance between these variables is the essence of my job, and it is the essence of policy making. Now, at the ministry, and as we heard the other day with His Royal Highness the Minister, someone came into the ministry and thought it was a tech firm because everyone was under 35. And I agree, I'm surrounded by my peers, I'm surrounded by young people, and it is magnificent to have. And for me, to be able to be involved in the decision-making process, creating policies, is not only investing in young generations, but making sure that they are part of that future. So I am actually working on policies that I will be living in the future for my children, my grandchildren. It is a really interesting field, working in the public sector. And as I said, especially in energy, I wouldn't say I'm excited about the challenges. However, I'm excited about being part of solving these challenges, understanding them, and passing the knowledge to the generation of 2040, because I consider us as Gen Zers, we're the generation of 2030 really. So I'm really excited about working here and really excited about the great accomplishments I hope I can be part of.
Amazing. So Nawaf talked about some of the challenges, especially in sustainability. And I think you work now, I mean, since you are working at the Ministry of Energy, can you depict a picture for us of what's going to happen in the next couple of years, and next couple of decades at least?
Well, as I said, energy is under a lot of pressure right now. Depicting anything in the future is really hard. However, I can say this with great confidence, as I've seen from the leaders at the ministry, from the leaders in energy really, our future is in really great hands. And there are visions are being made, strategies are being made, policies, as I'm working on them, regarding every subject related to energy. So while that of worry, yes, but I think that there is an open conversation like the one we're having here at the Future Investment Initiative. And we've seen kind of the theme is leaning towards energy. So the leaders are talking about it. A lot of people are working on it. So, and as Nawaf mentioned, like His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince announced a lot of programs related to carbon, related to carbon emissions, related to circular carbon economy. So yes, we are working on it.
Amazing. So Nawaf, you're not too worried about the future?
Not so much, Tariq. As Tarfa mentioned that we are really confident, especially here in Saudi Arabia, about our leaders and what they are doing to sustain the future, especially to solve these challenges. As I have mentioned that these challenges are their top priorities to solve these challenges. We have core programs, part of the core programs at Vision 2030 to solve these challenges. We have core program in the energy sector. We have core program related to health sector. We have core program related to education sectors. These three sectors, part of 8 sectors, are in the top priorities related to Vision 2030. And also for Vision 2040, as His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman mentioned that in one of his talks about Vision 2040. If we finish from Vision 2030, we will start to do Vision 2040 to help all the citizens and all people in Saudi Arabia to have a great future waiting for them.
Amazing. So AlJohara, you've mentioned creating an impact, and that's it's very difficult to create an impact at people's life. Mawhiba did leave something on all of us. We are here talking about what Mawhiba did for us. So what does it take actually for us to make that kind of impact for the future generations?
Sure. I think first of all, it takes ambition. If you have a generation of young people with big ambitions, each one would excel in a sector. Collectively, we will, as a nation, we will all excel in all sectors tomorrow. So if each one of us find their talent, unlock their potential, and try to excel in their niche area, we will all develop and reach that bigger picture. As well as having faith in the bigger vision, having faith in our leadership, having faith in our people, and also having faith in the process. It takes time. We won't be here today in just a day or just having that plans laid out. And as Saudis, I think we will do that by staying true to our identity, our values, and our principles. It will keep us more aligned with the vision, because that vision is not a country's vision. It aligns with all of us. It aligns with the mother at her home, improving her day-to-day quality of life. It implies to the female lawyer who didn't have the job, who didn't have the opportunity previously to have that kind of career. It implies to all of us. Also, when it comes to resilience, because the journey, as I said, it wouldn't be an easy journey. And as Arabs, we're known for our hard work, our dedication from history. And it will take so much resilience to reach the level we want to reach tomorrow. And also, it will take excellence. As Muslims, it's part of our religion. As Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Allah loves us to master our work. As I said earlier, if each of us excelled in an area, together as a nation, we can excel in all sectors and create that better country that we aspire to be in, and that we are part of it of today, generation after generation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Amazing. A question for you. Now, we talk about policies and challenges. To handle all of them needs manpower, needs talented people to work on it. صح? So do you think, and especially, and one of the challenges that Nawaf mentions, what healthcare, what you focus on, do you think that we have enough scientists and doctors and talented people who can help us achieve our dreams until 2040? And if not, what can we do?
Excellent. Thank you for the question. It's actually an important distinction. I think if we look at the numbers, some would say that yes, we do not have enough. But an important distinction is between the quantity versus quality. I think we should aim on the quality rather than just focusing on the quantities and numbers of scientists. And it all begins with empowering the youth, as they are the future. And I am lucky to be affiliated to my university, King Saud University for Health Sciences. They have supported me throughout this long journey. I'm in my final year as a medical student. So throughout this long years, I have faced support everywhere. And I think this is the core need that youth require. In order to be scientists, or I would say my fellow panelists would agree that it's not only about science in itself, but in any field in general. I think we need to be enabled. First of all, we need to be believed in, and to be enabled in order to follow our passion in a way that we are given trust And I believe that once youth is enabled in a way that they are really satisfied with what they're doing, I think that would lead to higher numbers, and not only higher numbers, but the quality itself would be much higher. I think the impact is what we should be focusing on, not only the numbers. And another important aspect really that I wanted to include is the recognition of talent and giftedness at an early age. I think Mawhiba has done a great role on this part throughout the years. Personally, take me for example, I started my journey with Mawhiba back in 2013. After I won the first place in the National Junior Science Olympiad, I was fortunate enough to be sponsored by Mawhiba, and that has enabled me to represent my country, Saudi Arabia, in the international Olympiads. But not only me, this has extended to my family as well. So my sister Siham has also represented Saudi Arabia in the International Junior Science Olympiad. So, and also my youngest sibling, Shoaa, is also, as we speak now, is preparing for the international competition, International Junior Science Olympiad, that's happening in Colombia this December. So you can see the effect of finding talent can spread not only to the single person that you're finding, but also his siblings, his community, and with that effect, we could reach the country level. And I think it's really important, and especially I'd like to thank Mawhiba for this great opportunity, honestly, to be sponsored by them and to have gone through this fruitful journey of multiple international representation of our beloved country. So when it comes to science specifically, I think there's an important factor that plays a role is the ambiguity of science. It's difficult to depict how your job would be as a scientist, and that can be solved through mentorship, and also Mawhiba is doing a great role on that as well. So I think by enabling the youth through mentorship, through one-on-one sessions, and through internship as well, I think this will have high impact on their outcomes, getting back to the quality versus quantity. So just keep that in mind, that as our audience, leaders of the world, I think it's important to focus on youth in a matter of detecting giftedness and creativity in all areas, of course. But as we speak of science, I had to reference for that. But I think the core principle to seeing our ambitions come to life is detection of giftedness and creativity at an early age. And I would like to add also, for the youth, I think it's important to be prepared, to be always ready, because you never know when the chance is going to come. So you always have to do your best, whether you have the chance or not, whether you have the excellent circumstances or not. You have to work hard, because it's not a matter of luck, honestly. It's a matter of a chance that lands on someone who's prepared. So that's an important point to address to the youth, as they are the future.
I think you and I share something regarding with Mawhiba, that we both were accidentally discovered by Mawhiba.
Yes.
صح?
Yes.
But you just mentioned right now that it's not about luck, it's about being ready when the chance lands on you. طيب الحين for the future, طيب how can we make sure that يعني we can discover our talents يعني in a more proactive way, instead of يعني getting it to led to the chance? So what in short answer?
I think the important factor is to explore. It's hard to know what you are interested in or talented without actually exploring it. So I would encourage everyone listening to explore their potential. Whether they would succeed or not, that's up to their efforts.
How can they explore?
I think there are many channels, especially now with Vision 2030. We have multiple channels that enable the youth. For example, MISC Foundation, as well as multiple other channels. So
So
I
you're
think
basically encouraging
being
people
proactive.
to look for those opportunities.
Exactly.
But is it on the kids who go to school, or on their parents to find these chances for them?
Honestly, it's a mixture of both. You cannot enforce your vision on your child, for example.
Okay.
They have to align in terms of their vision and goals, because talent comes in many ways. It's not about being a scientist or an entrepreneur or something related to Vision 2030, for example, or the future. We have many faces of talent, but the important thing is to find what face suits you.
Yeah.
If you allow me to add to that point, from personal experience, I was part of the Mawhiba alumni, and Mawhiba's program were purely focused on the sciences. So I grew up thinking I want to be a heart surgeon at the time. I joined for 3 years medical programs at each summer because I wanted to be a doctor, a heart surgeon. To my surprise, after exploring it on real ground, I don't like medicine and I don't like blood. So it's not exploring even the opportunities like we thought we liked, or this is the career path for us, would help us open up more opportunities. So at the time, I couldn't see many like business-related opportunities, and I knew I was more interested in that area because part of our education system, A+ students are expected to be like engineers, doctors, and all are great professions, but I didn't find myself in it. So I started volunteering with foundations, organizations, different events, and finding that I enjoyed that the most. So I think exploring, whether it's an educational opportunity, it's a volunteering opportunity, or even an entertainment opportunity, you can create a career out of like any passion you have.
So I think it goes to the education, right? And the education, the way that we get educated and the way that we educate
Yes.
our kids, is what makes an impact.
Let me second that.
Extracurricular activities for students, especially early on, is very important. Even if it was sports or hobbies, it helps you grow further more than only focusing on that lens and looking at life through like one area and one lens.
Yeah, let me second you, Johara, for your experience, because I've had the exact same experience where I went for a medicine program one summer and I discovered, oh man, I really don't like medicine and cutting things up. And I do second you on your point. This is a unique problem, really, yani. In the past, knowledge was scarce, experiences were scarce, and finding any opportunity and hanging on to it is the only option, really. But now you have so many options, and the challenge here really is how to figure out what you want, what you like, and how to utilize your time in the best way possible. I think it's a unique challenge, and I'm kind of jealous of the new generations for having these, I would say, privileges, really, and I can see how it can turn into a challenge, because I've heard someone say, and I can't recall who said it exactly, having too many options is like having no options at all. So it is really a unique challenge that is facing the new generations. Of course, through Mawhiba, we've had a privileged position of trying many fields, but I can imagine, I've seen a lot of my peers struggle with their career options and with their actually specialty options when going into their undergraduate studies, because you really have just one shot at it, and it's a hit or miss at this point. Yeah, I really want to see that change happen in the education system, where variety overcomes specialty, especially in younger years.
Yes.
Definitely.
Just to add on that, yes, I think it's an excellent point of view. This also adds to the importance of detection of talent at an early age. As we have so many options now, that sometimes once you get to that level, at a graduate level or undergraduate, it seems like you're lost because of so many options. So I think the solution to that is showcasing those options for the youth at an early age, so they get the chance to explore throughout the longitudinal area length in years. So with that time, I would believe that this ambiguity or multiple options dilemma is reduced in a sense. So this adds to the point of we really have to invest into detecting talent and exploring our options at a much early age, especially in the future as options are growing more and more.
And I believe it's already happening today in the education sector. So I don't have any siblings in the K-12 school programs, but I've heard that just this year they started uh, a, a, a program that where you choose your major early on in school rather than in university. So the last 2 years would be focused on the type of career you'd like to study and continue your undergraduate studies in. And that's a great advancement in education, not just to have like 2 types of careers, rather than to start learning more early on about it. To if you want to change your career, you still have the option. It's like a shortcut for us youth. And we can also see many companies are welcoming internships for undergraduate studies. We have our universities are including a co-op program where we have like students are required to complete training before their official graduation. And this gives them hands-on experience on professional work, on the work ethics, and how to enter that work field. Because we see many people struggling after graduation saying that people require experience, but I don't have any experience. So internships is just one way for students and people still that haven't graduated yet to explore that.
Amazing. And Nawaf, I think when you discussed about some of the challenges that you are not worried but careful, I mean, you want to be careful about for the next couple of decades. You mentioned also energy sustainability. So in your opinion, what are the metrics that we should keep an eye on in order to make sure that in the future we are more comfortable when it comes to energy?
Again, very good question, Tariq. The good news about that, we have seen a lot, and many countries are working and collaborating together to reach sustainability in the next years. In my opinion, I would like to see the 3Ds, I call them, in the next couple of decades, which are decarbonization, the decentralization, and digitalization. What does each D mean? I will go for each one with a brief explanation and examples behind these. For the decarbonizations, most of the energy products now are producing from fossil fuels, which have negative impact on environment. So we need more investment on technology, on energy sources to reduce carbon emissions. For instance, we need more investment in green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is one type of hydrogen that is extracted from renewable energy. It is a clean, green, renewable, and sustainable energy source as well. We need also more investment in capture and carbon capture and storage, which will reduce carbon emissions and enable blue hydrogen. Blue hydrogen is a type of hydrogen energy that is extracted from fossil fuels, but this time the carbon emissions are injected to carbon capture and storage, the CCS technology. By the way, Saudi Arabia is one of the countries that is committed to reach carbon net zero by 2060. The second D is decentralization. It is a concept that where the owner of a unit or the owners of units produce their energy based on their needs. One of the trend examples related to that concept is the community solar, which is based on the sharing economy concept, where the whole cost of the plant is covered by the private individuals. The third D is digitalization. We see digitalization across many segments, but the energy sector has less usage of digitalization. To transfer to be decarbonized plant is a complex process. The decentralization concept need a monitor to monitor the demand fluctuations. So we need digital solutions to achieve the first and the second D as well. For example, we need AI, artificial intelligence. We need some predictive analysis tools. We need digital twins. These are some of the examples of the digitalization that will help us and will make positive impact on our environment and especially the energy sustainability to help us reach sustainability of energy in the 2040. And I hope to see this part of Vision 2040, especially the next couple of decades will be after Vision 2040.
Amazing. So the 3Ds, I think the one that I think we could work on is digitalization. because it requires people who work on these kind of initiatives,
Yeah.
right? And to work on them, basically you need to empower and enable, in my opinion, students, university graduates, to work on in the digitalization arena. Do you agree with me or not? And then how can we enable more of our peers to work on in the digitalization sector?
It is very good question, Tariq, actually. In terms of digitalization, it is a private project. So private individuals, companies can work on these. We can have digital machines, digital services. These will help us to transfer to decarbonize the plant.
Who will build them?
Sorry?
Who would build them?
Companies can build these, and it is a profit for them at the end. So they will have a profit, and they will help to enable digitalization process in terms of energy sustainability.
Okay, but the knowledge, I mean, those companies will have to require, I mean, recruit students or recruit people who would work on them, right? So they have to recruit people who are talented, or to basically, or bring knowledge from outside, right? So here in Saudi, for example, do you think our schools offer proper education in that area where they can then graduate and work for these companies and make these kind of impacts?
We have very good universities here in Saudi Arabia, which has some facilities, and the staff there are very educated. Facilities have a lot of good equipment, so that will help the digitalization process. We have KAUST, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and you are one of the alumni from them. We have KFUBM and other universities. These universities has good facilities, has good staff, will help to achieve the third D, and will help to achieve the sustainability of energy sector.
Okay, great. So I think maybe our discussion converged or boiled down to, I think, education. You need to empower youth, educate them, give them opportunities, and have them choose without getting them confused. If I summarized, I think, correctly, right? So, in your opinion, are there things that we need to change in the education sector here in the kingdom? Is there an 80-20 kind of rule? Is there a 20% of the things that we could do that can create an 80% of an impact? Who would like to?
I wouldn't say change. I would say improve.
Improve.
I think we can implement the goals that we are looking for, what we're seeking in 2040 at an early age. That's why I think the critical area or the critical age group, not only focusing on the graduate level or undergraduate. Of course, we have excellent universities, but as we mentioned earlier, this can be a bit too late. I think to have a common knowledge of what we envision in the future, a digitalized system, I think we should start implementing those changes at a much younger age, to have it as a common language between the youth, who are going to be in the future the leaders of the future. So I think we should start at an early age. Of course, the education system is excellent, but I think a bit of improvement can be added in terms of seeing what we are trying to achieve in the future and implementing it now to see the changes, to see the changes and to see the improvement throughout the years.
طيب, is the opportunity equal? Is the kid or the student in, for example, let's say Sharura in Najran, getting the same opportunity that someone in Riyadh school is getting? If that is not, so what can we do to change that? Who would like to take that?
Let me take this question. Mainly because I've studied in public schools my whole life, so I know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I do think that our education system has a lot, needs to do a lot of improvements. However, I would like to put an emphasis on one point. Throughout human history, knowledge was very scarce, only accessible to the wealthy and the privileged. And now we live in a times where I can be virtually in an MIT lecture hall, listening to the best of professors in the world, only one click away, which is truly an amazing accomplishment for humanity and civilization. What I want to see in the education system is diverting away from the traditional ways that the system is currently what it is. And as we've seen with COVID and post-COVID times, how it only took a unified effort and a motive to truly transform the experience of education. What I want to see is expanding that scope, working on it, creating more of a personalized and tailored education programs, mainly to fit all and not to be a very static system. I want to see a dynamic system with many mediums. It is really, again, it's a unique challenge of today's youth where we have many options. I mean, yes, I learned a lot throughout my school years, but I learned even more through the internet. It is such a unique time where knowledge is only accessible, is really accessible one click away throughout any field, any skill, anything. For all I can know, I can learn ballet through YouTube or something. So what I want to see is a more dynamic system, a system that fits all and not only one. A gifted student has no definition really. So we want to see more gifted students throughout many sectors. Yes, STEM is great. I love engineering. I truly love my field. I love science. But I want to see gifted students in poetry and culture and many of the sciences that are what we really see right now as careerless, really. Yeah.
Thank you, Tarfa.
I would like to comment on what Tarfa said. Tarfa mentioned something very important, that is, I can access everything while I'm just sitting here. It is all about digitalization.
True.
I can access some materials for, as Tarfa said, for professor at MIT.
Yep.
I would like to say something and emphasize on it. The opportunities are available everywhere, but the question is, who will take the opportunity?
And how can we make them reach everywhere?
As I said, it is all digitalized world now. Wi-Fi can bring everything. So it is based on the internet.
Yeah.
It is available on YouTube, the material. It is available on some platform, so we can access them. It is all available, but who will go and take it and have it?
If you allow me to add.
Thank you. I think our time is now up. It was interesting and discussion that we had today.
If you just allow me, I just want to say one final remark. And I know we talked a lot about change today, and I just want to offer an alternative perspective on today's session. There are things that we want to keep and we don't want them to change. Change really is a double-edged sword of an expression. You know, when the Vision 2030 was first announced in 2016, I was a high schooler, and I remember the feeling of reassurance that my future was being planned, and this vision, I will be part of this vision. So I really want to keep, and I do not want to change the excitement for tomorrow, and the excitement for tomorrow, and the eagerness to really own this future.
Great. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
It was lovely to have you all, and we hope for you to enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.